Yes, there are 16 present with 2 remotely present.
So Alderpersons Andy Ross and Roman Drawn are both attending the council remotely. We have a special guest tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Eagle Scout Matthew Schmeiser of Troop 801 from Grace Episcopal Church is here. His Eagle project was completed on November 12th of 2016, constructing colorful trellises at the Meals on Wheels location. His project was designed to grow food and help with the bee population and catch the eye of those passing by. Congratulations on your project, Matthew. Please step up here and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening we have 5 people on public forum. First on the list would be Rose Phillips. Rose, are you here?
Yes.
Rose, you want to come on up to the mic here, please?
Hello everyone. A little bit about myself. I chose to pursue an education in the field of science with a desire to better understand the world around me and its complex interactions. My scientific research experience involves the study of effects of invasive shrubs on the understory flora in a mixed woodland community. My work is scheduled to be published in the September issue of a scientific journal called Ecological Restoration. Firstly, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I speak for myself as well as on behalf of many fellow community members who share my concerns. I would like to start this off by asking that we all be honest with each other and recognize that this vote for annexation is really a vote to move forward with Kohler's golf course proposal. Should the annexation be approved, the subsequent agendas would include discussions about a conditional use permit that would be necessary to follow through with the golf course plans. This is merely a stepping stone to Kohler's end goal. I would hope that the city of Sheboygan would hold Kohler accountable for complying with all the necessary steps for such a process, should this move forward, just as the town of Wilson has thus far. As others have previously pointed out, I also question the contentious method that Kohler has chosen in this annexation pursuit, as well as the necessity of it. For the past 3 years, the town of Wilson board has been diligently working with Kohler on the golf course proposal. No concerns were ever raised regarding the town's fiscal stability, municipalities, or emergency services. Suddenly and secretly, Kohler went behind the backs of the people of the town of Wilson to request this annexation that we are here to talk about today. Furthermore, Kohler bought houses in the annexation path and placed renters in them, likely choosing applicants that would provide him a vote in favor of his annexation plans. This all seems very manipulative and disingenuous to me. I would like to remind you that a certain level of skepticism is healthy and even a sign of intelligence, and I ask that you do not immediately buy into Kohler's vague ideas and instead choose to look critically at this request and consider the motives behind it. I would also like to point out that it was recently brought to my attention that one of the aldermen on this council is a Kohler employee and has connections with Whistling Straits Golf Course. I believe that the ethical and responsible decision for this person would be to step down from voting on this issue, since there appears to be a conflict of interest here. I do not believe that Kohler is looking out for his community. Rather, he is trying to feed his insatiable appetite for money, power, and prestige. In fact, he will try to knock down anything or anyone that gets in his way. 150 acres of old-growth forest, ancient wetland ecosystems, the town of Wilson people. Please don't think that this will be any different. The assertion that approving the annexation will benefit the city economically is entirely hinged on the approval of the golf course. What happens if the annexation is approved but the golf course is not? How would that affect the city economically? And have you entertained the idea that this could result in an economic disaster if these proposals are approved? Think about these things for a second. Science explains that gravity exists, that soil is permeable, that water cycles, and that chemical runoff from industry and agriculture are degrading the quality of our waterways. Informed with this knowledge, we can assert that regardless of what the Kohler Company claims, pesticide and fertilizer runoff from this proposed golf course will absolutely occur, and this would certainly result in further reduction of the quality of our water. When our water quality is compromised, we all pay the price. Our natural resources are the very thing that sustains us. Our industries, our agricultural systems, our recreational opportunities, and our economy are all interconnected with the health of our water. Anything that aims to destroy our natural resources is suicide. Water is the most essential element to life on Earth. We literally cannot live without it. Not you, not me, not even Mr. Kohler. It is the one thing that all of us in this room and on this planet have in common. We need water to survive. Clean water, water that we can trust. And it isn't just humans, it's everything that lives. All life forms require water for survival. We cannot simply think about short-term potential monetary gain. We must think about long-term effects with future generations. We cannot create water. What we have is what we get. Of the total volume of water on Earth, only 2.5% of that is fresh water, and less than 1% of that is available to us. The Great Lakes Basin contains 95% of the fresh surface water in North America. The Lakewide Action and Management Plan for Lake Michigan was created on behalf of the Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement, which was established between Canada and the U.S. to protect and restore the Great Lakes ecosystem. They made this statement, which I think encompasses the aspects I have addressed. The significant natural features of Lake Michigan, such as its encompassing the world's largest collection of freshwater sand dunes, supporting 43% of the Great Lakes' large sport fishing industry, and providing drinking water for over 10...
Rose. 5 minutes, I'm sorry.
I have two more sentences. Is it okay if I finish them?
Just go ahead and quickly do it.
Thank you. Provides drinking water for 10 million residents, and this means billions of dollars not only to the economies of the 4 states that share the lake, but also to the nation as a whole. If you care about the financial stability of our city, then you must care about the sustainability of our natural resources as well. For this reason and many others, I ask that you vote no for the annexation, even if it is just for the time being, so that the proper research and analysis can be completed. Thank you for your time.
Here we go. Members of the council, I thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight about the annexation and zoning in the town of Wilson for the proposed Kohler Golf Course. I feel a lot of weight on my shoulders tonight, as there are a lot of people here that also want to speak on this subject. I'm sure you feel a great weight about this decision as well. And I don't envy you. I know this council works hard to make life better for the citizens of Sheboygan, which is why I hope you will vote no on the annexation and zoning proposal. My reasons are not so much about what we know regarding this proposal, it is what we don't know. I have concerns that much of the financial studies of this golf course were done by Kohler's firm and have not been independently validated. Can we be sure that the financial gains to the city of Sheboygan will be accurate or sustainable? Do we know if it's worth the added burden on our fire and police staff? Are we giving up a lot of unknowns for about $79,000 a year in taxes? I have concern about the water infrastructure. It is not clear in this current agreement if this course will rely on city water or a well identified in the town of Wilson. In the current agreement, Kohler maintains rights to their identified well for 3 years. But when does this start? At the beginning of construction? At the end? Are these years going to be contiguous? And I haven't seen the well remediation plan for those living in the area whose residential wells could be affected by potential drawdowns. The possible effects on nearby streams and wetlands are also not well addressed. I have concerns that the city is getting into a contractual agreement without all the financial responsibilities being clear. If the golf course utilizes city water systems for irrigation, potable water, toilets, and septic, who will pay for the implementation of this new system? How will the cost of filling that massive retention pond on the course be covered? Will resident costs go up? Finally, I have concerns that this whole process may be an end run around our neighbors in the town of Wilson. If those residents decide to sue over annexation, can we afford those litigation costs and costs to the reputation of the friendly city of Sheboygan? I know there was public input at the city planning meeting, but why are pieces of information critical to this process only coming out after public records requests? Why are there so many closed-door meetings? It is especially critical in these days that the citizens of Sheboygan feel projects that the city undertakes are done openly, honestly, and are not rushed in any way or done behind closed doors. I know this council is steeped in finding ways for the city to grow and prosper. I am really excited about such ventures as the updates to the downtown, the Lake Michigan Marine Reserve, and being home to the best surfing in the Midwest. I too want Sheboygan to grow and be a great destination for all visitors, not just golfers. I really hope that our efforts here are for sustainable growth, and we are considering not just potential financial benefits and the satisfaction of those who visit here, but also the health of our natural resources, our reputation, and the happiness of those who have lived here for decades. I ask you to vote no on annexation. More time is needed to fully understand the long-term impacts of this project on our fiscal bottom line, our natural resources, and our residents. I ask you to think creatively. If the city of Sheboygan pitched an alternative use for Kohler's land, for instance, a Native American Museum of the Great Lakes, which was LEED certified, accessible, affordable, and offered unique interpretive displays, this would be an endeavor I feel that our community could get behind. As a community, we can be proactive in filling needed niches as a tourism destination versus allowing one vision and one stakeholder to dictate options. The Kohler Company has done a lot of good for this community, and I know that the council and city staff can negotiate with Kohler to hold off until this project is fully vetted and best for the community as a whole. So keep your doors open, keep it honest, and please vote no. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've been a lifelong resident of Sheboygan, and I'm here to address the proposed annexation of the Kohler Company property in order to build a golf course there. First of all, I want you to be aware, as a former school board member and deputy district attorney, I understand the interrelationship between economic growth and property tax revenue, but this should not be our sole focus. I'm not here to vilify anyone involved in the process. I came here because I oppose the use of this gem of a piece of the land for purposes of a golf course. The famous Wisconsin conservationist Aldo Leopold once said, "Examine each question in terms of what is ethically and aesthetically right, as well as what is economically expedient." The use of this land does not appropriately balance economic consideration with conservation and environmental needs. I personally am quite familiar with this land. For years, the Kohler Company graciously allowed public access to this beautiful piece of property. From childhood on until Kohler Company ended access, I have hiked this land and observed it in its natural state. It is a thing of beauty, with its dunes, wetlands, variety of trees, other plant life, and wildlife. There are few sand dune lands with forests and a stream running through it that exist on this side of Lake Michigan. It pained me to hear that as the city government, you are not invited to go on the property. I highly recommend that before you make any decision about the property, you do ask the Kohler Company to allow you to do so. Also, that you would have an impartial, trained naturalist with you so they can help educate you on the environment that you are traveling through. You cannot truly understand the value of this land as it now exists without doing so. To use Aldo Leopold's words, you cannot examine the question of annexation without looking at what is ethically and aesthetically right, along with looking at the economic impact. As the Kohler Company sustainability website states, we believe knowledge empowers choice. Before you make any decision about this property, you need to know more about this property. Go see it. Some may say it's only a small project. In the world at large, what difference does it make if a golf course is built there? This is not the ethical and aesthetic way of addressing this issue. Every degradation to our environment has an impact. The cumulative impact makes a difference. You have an opportunity here to act in a progressive manner and address the impact this golf course has on our environment. We all want to do the right thing for our environment, and perhaps you do in many ways, such as recycle, pick up trash, plant trees. This is a real environmental choice for you as council members. Do not think of this as purely in economic terms. You can make a positive difference in this community by voting no on this proposed annexation and development agreement. As I said before, I'm not here to vilify any party in this matter. Through my professional responsibilities and volunteer activities, I recognize that the many good works the Kohler Company and family have provided to this community and beyond. My point is, this is the wrong project for this piece of land. The Kohler Company is very creative and capable of finding a more appropriate project for this land. I am convinced that a golf course is an abuse of this land. No matter what environmental accommodations the Kohler Company says it is making in its plan for the land, it is still a golf course with fairways, greens, buildings, parking lots, and roads where a natural environment previously existed. As Leopold states, we abuse land because we regard it as a commodity belonging to us. When we see land as a community to which we belong, we may begin to use it with love and respect. I like quotes, and my final comment is another quote from the Kohler Sustainability webpage. This is a post that they made on Earth Day. They ask, what are you doing to make a positive difference this Earth Day? It goes on to say that Kohler believes that Earth Day is every day. So the question for you as a city council this Earth Day, in other words today, is what are you going to do to make a positive difference? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.